Dude in the middle here is a guy named Joel Webbon. He's a Christian nationalist and extremist. He says he wants a full-blown dictatorship. He wants Trump as a dictator. Wild stuff, dude. In this video right here, I want to show you guys, he can't get over the fact that his neighbor is Hindu. It bothers him to no end, apparently. Oh my God. Just let me introduce you to him, and then we'll talk about the Hindu stuff. Check this out.
We need to win. We need to wield power righteously. The Christian mantra, as it comes to power, is not to forsake power, but to rule righteously. It's not to forsake rule, but to rule righteously. And so in that, I said, I want to win. I want Christians to have power, and with that power, I want it to be wielded righteously. What does that mean? It means crushing our enemies and rewarding our friends.
Holy Christ on a cracker, dude. This guy wants to create a dictatorship in which Christians control everything and crush their enemies. Oh my God.
My prayer, in addition to that, is that God would give us stomachs for revival. And you know what that
stomachs for revival, I assume what he means is it's going to be really hard to like slaughter somebody with your own two bare hands, but I pray that God gives us the strength to strangle somebody or something. Like, oh my God.
And you know what that prayer, essentially what that prayer means? At some level, what it means is that we would not have female leadership.
Okay, we wouldn't have female leadership. Yeah, he believes that women should not have anything to do with leadership because they think with their emotions, or they let their emotions lead them rather than thinking with their brains. Not for nothing. I mean, I don't want to keep bringing it back to this. I don't like doing that, but that's like literally exactly what Hitler said. Like I'm quoting him from Mein Kampf, chapter 6. He said, the public is generally feminine, like including the men. They're feminine in that they think with their hearts rather than their brains. So you have to distill a message into like short, emotive slogans that any idiot can understand. That's pretty much what he said. But okay, yeah, no, quote Hitler, whatever. I checked this out. This is where he spoke about his Hindu neighbor.
Like I walk around my neighborhood, and it's not that there are different shades of, white and brown. Who cares? No, it's like full, straight up Hindu garb at our neighborhood swimming pool that my daughter is asking. I'm trying to explain.
Are you kidding me? Wow, you have to explain that people have other cultures other than ours? Wow, I'm sorry for you. That's rough.
She's like, and I don't even know what country I'm in my own neighborhood. I don't know where I am. It's,
like he has a Hindu neighbor and he suddenly forgets that he's in America and thinks he's in India. Are you serious?
When we go on a family walk, the number of Pakistani, Hindu, all these different, not just ethnicities, but religions with visible religious outfits.
I love that he listed ethnicities and then said not just ethnicities. So it really is about race then, right? It is racism. Like he's couching it in language that could maybe possibly be interpreted as like, I just want Christianity here. Which is bigotry. I mean, that's literally the definition of bigotry. Racism is prejudice based on somebody's race. Bigotry is prejudice based on someone's religious beliefs or the way that they think. So this is actually bigotry, but he doesn't want to be that kind of bigot. I guess he's okay with hating people for their religious beliefs, but not for their skin tone, supposedly. And then he just like busts it out. Yeah, they're Pakistani or whatever. Quick interjection, this won't take long, I promise. I'd appreciate it if you watched to the end of the video, or at least a couple extra seconds, because YouTube bases its algorithm off of watch time. The more watch time a video has, the further the video will go. Also, take a look at my website, owenmorgan.com. I'm selling my book, Understanding Jehovah's Witnesses, 400 pages, and my second book, 100 Questions for Jehovah's Witnesses, which is about 80 pages. And you can find them both there on the website. Audio form, ebook form, whatever. It's about my experiences within the religion, and
the history of the religion generally. The 100 questions are intended to challenge your religious leader, so I'd appreciate it if you give it a read. Okay, back to the video.
And, you know, the same thing, like when we go to Costco, I'm like, where am I? You know, and so.
You're at Costco.
Like it's rare. Like we'll go on a family walk and every now and then we'll pass by, you know, a white family that's a man and a woman and has more than one kid.
Okay.
And every time I see it, I'm like, I don't want to be this way. But
where I don't want to be this way, where I'm like super racist and sexist and homophobic and everything. You do want to be that way, obviously. Why are you denying it? Just admit that. You're so down for being this way. It's like his whole way of life. Are you kidding?
I'm like, I don't want to be this way. But I feel like this like small sense of relief. Like I see you. I'm glad you're one of my neighbors. Because at the end of the day, again, it's not about whiteness. But at the end of the day, if things get rough, I don't know if my Hindu neighbor is going to fight to save the lives of my children.
What the hell does he mean by that? When would a Hindu neighbor, or when would any neighbor have to fight for the lives of anybody? Okay, we live in like a civilized society where we aren't like carrying guns around on our backs. Well, okay, maybe we are, but we shouldn't have to worry about fighting hand-to-hand combat or whatever, like Mortal Kombat style or something. What is he going on about? And also, why do you think a Hindu couldn't fight for your kid anyway? Why do you, like, if you build these relationships up, then they absolutely will care. And honestly, the vast majority of people will care about kids and other people's lives anyway, whether they're Hindu or Christian or whatever. I would fight for his kids' lives. I would try to save his kids if they were in a fire or something. I would go into this building to try to pull them out. Absolutely. And I'm an atheist and he's a Christian nationalist. I don't understand where this is all coming from. Oh, and another thing, why do you care if you're replaced? It's not even like a replacement. Like, that's not happening. But what is the downside to your daughter marrying a black guy and having mixed kids? What's the downside to that? What's the downside of the black population increasing from 14% to 20%? Hell, you know what? What's the downside to people just like intermarrying so much that only 10% of the country is white now? What's the downside? You want to keep your weird little white family, then you can keep your weird little white family. Everyone else is having a good time and loving each other and marrying and whatever. My God. Okay, this is the deeply comical and fascinating part of this story. Okay, so Flashpoint, this TV show on Kenneth Copeland's TV network or whatever, found some random dude talking about immigrants. And I did so much research on this, it's not even funny. I wanted to understand what this guy's saying. Listen to what some random guy that they found that we don't even know the name of has to say about immigration.
Good morning. So yesterday...
I'm sorry, name is Ford Boss Me? Ford Boss Me, top left corner? Weird name. Last name Me, first name Ford?
Good morning. So yesterday, I ran into somebody that I haven't seen in a while. I haven't seen this guy for months. He's been here for about 5 months in the United States, 6 months, something like that. And he says, hey, I'm looking for work. And I said, well, I can't hire you, man. I'm not, I got to hire like legitimate people or whatever.
Okay, so he meets some guy who's in the United States, and he says, I'm not going to hire you because you're undocumented. All right.
And he was like, no, I'm legitimate now. And he's broken English, kind of bits and pieces together. And
Are you serious? The gall. Broken English? Ugh, disgusting, huh?
Pulls his ID and stuff out of his pocket. And he says, I got Social Security card now, and I got worker's ID and permit for working, everything all legit. Stamp, city stamping, specialized Social Security envelope. And I said,
okay, no, just a second here. So this guy's claiming some undocumented immigrant been here for 6 months, and he suddenly has a green card and a social security number, like he's going to pull social security or something, and he's got all of this other stuff. No, that is not how it works. So let me just explain real quick. You want to come visit the United States, you have to have a passport. When you come to the United States, you get a visa that allows you to stay temporarily. You don't have a permanent address. You can apply for a green card, and that's a process that takes some time. I forget, was it 2 years? I think it takes like 10 months to 2 years, I believe, to get a green card, to like a permanent address. Sometimes the government will grant temporary workers permits, and they will assign a taxpayer ID number, TIN, not an SSN, but a TIN. So they'll assign that like early if you're just in the United States for like a year while you finish a contract job or something. And after you finish that contract job, you'll be paying into Social Security because you work in the United States, and that's how it works. But you can request all of your Social Security money back that you paid into it because, you're not going to be able to pull it, so you shouldn't have to pay into it, basically. So you get a green card if you do want to stay long term. You have to hold a green card for, I think, 5 years before you can apply for citizenship. This whole time, by the way, you're not allowed to vote. We have databases of people with like green cards and everything that are not allowed to vote. You have to be a citizen, I believe, which takes, the visa process, the green card process, the testing and everything, 6 to 7 years. Takes 6 to 7 years to become a citizen. Then you can vote. However, there are some limited circumstances in which certain townships, certain villages or cities will allow green card holders with a permanent residence in the city to vote in their local elections, but not in federal elections. So anyway, this guy's claiming that this dude had everything. He's claiming that he said he had an ID. That implies to me, at least, that he's a U.S. citizen, like a full citizen. Even though a green card is an ID. It's just a little, a license-shaped square ID thing. So he's saying that it took 6 months to become a full-blown citizen. Okay, go on. Just step back a little bit and listen one more time to all of the nonsense he just spouted off.
His ID and stuff out of his pocket, and he says, I got Social Security card now, and I got workers' ID.
The implication being, I can draw Social Security now. That's not how it works.
Permit for working, everything all legit. Stamp, city stamping, specialized Social Security envelope. And I said, let's go inside real quick. I need a...
Well, that sounds great. You tell me dude is legit. I don't understand the problem.
Let's go inside real quick. I need a translator. And a couple of my guys, they speak Spanish. And I'm talking to them, and I says, so where are we at with time frame wise? How long did it take you to get your Social Security card and your workers permit? He said maybe 3.5, 4 months.
Oh my God, dude. Like I said, I believe it takes about a year to get a green card, but you can, hang on, let me just find out. Double check on that. Yeah, so it takes 7 to 33 months or longer. I think the average is like 10 to 12 months because a green card is just like an ID with a permanent residence on it. It's like a driver's license, basically. He didn't, and also, who cares? Fine, that's great. The process is streamlined. This is a good thing. It's going faster. Don't you want that?
Finish in my hand. This dude got his freaking work permit and Social Security card, came here illegally, got documented, got on the buses from Texas to Chicago, got in process here in Chicago, found an apartment building within the first week, an efficiency apartment.
Dude, this guy knows how to do business. Are you kidding me? I need this guy on my team. That's crazy.
Efficiency apartment, moved into the apartment building, and then has been working cash jobs under the table for the last 4 months until recently got his worker's permit, and now he's working for a roofing company, but they're laid off right now.
God, this is so stupid, dude. To my knowledge, for what it's worth, there's a hole in the border where people can walk through, because it's like a humanitarian thing, like there must be a humanitarian corridor open for people, for refugees who are from war-torn areas to reach a UN refugee center to apply for asylum. That's basically all of the undocumented immigrants or the illegal immigrants that these people are complaining about. Just about. Now, there are some people who are here who just like came here because they wanted to do a job or whatever, and then they just overstayed their visa. And yeah, that's bad. You need to, get documented if you're working here or living here or whatever. It's a nightmare anyway. You can't have like a permanent residence. It's terrible. But this guy's saying that the dude had a permanent residence within a week. Within a week. Didn't he just say that? He said he got an efficiency apartment within a week of arriving in Chicago? You can't have a permanent residence on a visa. What are you talking about? These people are complaining about refugees coming here who have suffered terribly. A lot of Venezuelans, I understand, because Venezuela is like a complete mess right now. They're complaining about people coming from war-torn areas barely surviving and making their way through and applying for asylum. They're doing things legally by applying for asylum status. We need more immigration judges. People can go through these immigration courts faster, streamline it. What is his problem? Is this even a real story? Probably not, right? You just made this up. These people are shameless. They'll lie about practically anything. This is the crew on screen here, by the way. This is Flashpoint, the Flashpoint people. Gene Bailey, Hank Kunneman, Floyd Brown, and Rick Green from left to right. And they just brazenly lie about immigration like nonstop. Listen to this one. This is from, I believe, May 2024, might be June.
It takes years to get your citizenship, but not.
Oh yes, it does. It takes about 7 years. Yes,
but not so anymore. You can get it 3.5, 4 months.
No,
be totally legal.
So they have been handing out Social Security numbers, and that's what you need in order to get a driver's license. You go down to the Department of Motor Vehicles.
Again, you need a taxpayer ID number, not a Social Security number necessarily. But okay. I mean, again, the implication is that they're taking Social Security payments from our system after arriving, like immediately after arriving. It's just nonsense.
To the Department of Motor Vehicles, you get a driver's license, and then guess what they do? Based on the Motor Voter Act, they register you to vote.
Oh boy, I looked into this pretty heavily, and no, in fact, they do not. You have to check a box to be registered to vote, and if you do or don't check the box or whatever, and you're an immigrant, and you do it wrong, you're in some deep shit. And they are real about this. They follow this like nobody's business. You need to call in and tell them that this happened and apologize. This is just for registering. This isn't for voting. You need to ask them to, like, remove you from the registration and everything, and they may just, like, deport you anyway for that. So he's just, like, making this up right now. It's just fabricated. Oh, and by the way, do you have any idea how we determine if undocumented immigrants are voting? Through database cross-checks, basically. We do it by using computers to check databases of green card holders or visa holders or whatever, comparing that to voter rolls and stuff. And Mike Lindell wants to go to paper ballots written out by hand? Are you serious? This is like way worse than digitizing it. Like way worse. It makes it so easy to cheat if it's paper ballots hand counted. So anyway, Floyd Brown just lying here.
Voter Act, they register you to vote. And now in a lot of states, they turn around and mail you a ballot, whether you request it or not. So this...
I should be able to print a ballot off online and fill it out with my address and stuff and mail it in. Why wouldn't I be able to do that? I don't understand what his hang-up is.
Request it or not. So
again, like, they're not sending ballots out to people who are not citizens or not like green card holders or whatever.
This is prime voter fraud and election manipulation, because it's a felony for a non-citizen to vote in U.S. elections. And so
even that's not fully true. Like, it's, and I love how he's like admitting that immigrants don't vote in elections. In federal elections, that's illegal, but some cities, if you're a permanent resident, allow you to register and vote there. You cannot register or vote federally. Again, they will deport your... Like, if you do that, if you vote when you're not supposed to, or if you even register, it's a big deal.
The federal government, in league with, the Department of Homeland Security and the Social Security Administration.
Why not Immigration Services? Why did he say Department of Homeland Security? Like, what? Does he even know what he's talking about right now?
Security and the Social Security Administration are literally giving these people the ability to vote, to get driver's licenses, to do everything that they couldn't do in the past when they came here and their first act was breaking the law. So
it's just nonsense.
We've got a terrible...
When he says their first act is breaking the law, he means they broke the law by coming over the border. Again, a lot of people are asylum seekers. It is not illegal for them to cross over the border.
We've got a terrible situation here in Arizona. They give you what's called a, quote, federal ballot that allows you to vote in federal elections if you're illegal.
Really? They give you a federal ballot to vote in federal elections if you're an undocumented, like if you're not on paper, if they don't know where you live or that you're living here in the first place, then they mail you a federal ballot so that you can vote in elections. Okay, wow. The deep state is more powerful than I ever dreamed.
Vote in federal elections if you're illegal. And how they develop these rules, I don't understand it, but it has to do with this whole notion that we've got to count every vote. And no, that is not what we need to do. We need to count every legal vote. And the left knows what they're doing.
Right.
Oh my God, dude. He's giving me a headache. This is so stupid. Somebody asks, what's this guy's credentials? To my knowledge, I thought he was a congressman, but as it turns out, I think he's an editor, or I think he created some newspaper or something. Yeah, so he was the CEO of USA Radio. He founded the conservative website Western Journalism in 2008. So those are his credentials. He's a right-wing nutcase. These people are just jokes of human beings. And when push comes to shove, it's not even that difficult, obviously, to get these people to admit that they just, like, they don't want darker-skinned people here, right? They want people to be white and married and have children. That's what it's all about. That's the complaint.
Around my neighborhood, and it's not that there are different shades of, white and brown. Who cares? No, it's like full, straight up Hindu garb at our neighborhood swimming pool.
Jesus Christ, dude. Let me know what you think in the comments. These people are just shameless liars. Just telling lies knowingly, in my opinion. Let me know what you think.